Okay, I just gotta say a bunch of stuff. And it is gonna be one of those rambly kind of just a bunch of stuff because it is too hard to just divide this up. Sometimes they give it to me and it's just like so much stuff is linked. They just show me how things are linked. And they show me like where to pay attention. So like that's why I know like some of the stuff that's going on. They show me like they show me what's happening. And then they show me the big picture. And so, anyways, when I was just driving, I had to go get Stella more medicine. She was just too miserable and was running out. And I'm switching off the RSO and going back to the CBD and see maybe if I just keep switching it up. Because the other day when I went and picked it up and I was like saying she's going through so much. And they said you build up a tolerancy. And then plus the dogs, they already told me the dogs metabolize it much faster. So anyways, she's just having such a hard time. It's so sad. I'm so sick of all this bullshit. And I tried to capture a lot of videos, but it was messing up the sound because even if I unplug my phone from the car, it's still linked somehow. And so it has me talking through some weird speaker or something. So that's why it sounds weird. But so what I was trying to show was, for one thing, I showed a bunch of footage where you can see the silver disc. So you can actually, hopefully you can see it in the footage as well. But yeah, you can see it when it goes behind some, I love you too, honey. I love you. Let me finish talking, okay, before I forget everything. I start getting too worried, I'll forget everything. Okay, so when I was driving, it would, you could see, like, when it's behind fog or a lot of cloud, like they have a lot of atmospheric condensation over us. I think it's to trap us with these poisons, whatever they're putting in our environment. So, anyways, you can see. And another thing, when it came out, it's blinding, even if you're not looking at it. And I know my eyes are damaged, so they're so much more sensitive. And, you know, my body's working hard on this blindness. And so, but it's, when it is, when I'm not even looking, just that light, I know it's artificial, but it starts doing the same kind of thing to my eyes as some of these plant lights do if I were to stare at them, you know, these LED lights or whatever it is. So it is, whatever they're doing, it is some sort of an artificial light. But when I'm not looking at it, it starts giving me these flashes and color spots come up and I can't see past them. At this point, it's getting kind of dangerous for me to be out there with this thing on, because I have my sunglasses are like black, and it's still, you know, I have them on, but it fucks with my eyes. And plus, so it said, when I left this morning, it said it was like 23 degrees or something. It's like, oh my gosh, this is mental. And then it was I think it was like 9 o'clock in the morning, and it was 23 degrees. It was so freaking cold. And then I started going, and the sun thing came out, and the temperature was going, it wasn't going up like it should, you know, for a normal natural morning. If you ever get up in the morning, and it has a certain way that it does it naturally. Besides, this thing does not go straight over us. It's always out at this angle. And then, but when it came out, so it's putting this weird light out, and it's doing something. It hadn't heated up yet, I think, when they turned it on. And so all this fog, the most densest fog, just starts surrounding. Well, when the sun comes out, isn't it go the other way around? In the morning you get up, and then there's the night kind of switches to daytime. The sun comes in and kind of burns that atmosphere away, and the fogginess kind of dissipates, right? Isn't that how it normally works? And this is like the opposite. It is, this thing comes out and it brings the fog. And then it takes forever to heat up. And once it heats up, it is like it's, if it touches you, you feel it. It's not like it heats up the atmosphere. And then I wanted to also show that the fields, you know, they still have floods, but still, I still am questioning this whole thing about the geese. because, you know, the geese are, I don't know about all the different migration birds, you know, like how far they go, but I know the geese are super far travelers, like whales and salmon. There's certain ones that go a long, long ways out of their, you know, area. Like they have a big area they travel, and the geese are like that. And then this year is when I started noticing, like, usually when you went to the lake, there's just so much goose poop, you know, it's everywhere. There's geese everywhere, and there wasn't. And usually during migration, too, over here in the Pacific Northwest, because I always noticed it even in Spokane, you would hear them because we're right by Canada, and they go from Canada to Mexico. And so they may even go further. I just remember that part is what I was taught, which we know most things that we're taught are all lies anyways, so who fucking knows. But when they go a long distance, so you would hear them coming all the time, and they're super noisy when they are flying. It's so cute. They get in big groups, and then they fly all together, and they are all honking at each other and talking as they're going. It's just cute as hell. I love it. I love hearing the geese go. And so it was something I always loved. And then I started noticing, like, what the fuck, where's the geese? Why is there no geese? And I started noticing there's no geese people. There's no geese. Now we got freaking swans. I swear to God, how many swans have I ever even seen in my whole entire life? It would be like, you know, that was the unicorn back then. And it's like, a swan? I haven't seen a swan. Where's a swan? You know, go to the zoo to see a swan. And here we got him out in the farm fields. It is the weirdest thing. I don't remember. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on. I mean, hopefully the geese are just kind of held up in their migration with this weird weather, you know, systems that they're doing. And, you know, it's nothing natural, you know, because they got to convince us, you know, about the climate change campaign. You know, it's their next thing to get us to pay for everything. You know, we're willing to do more taxes on our cars, more taxes in this, more taxes in that. Please, please save us. They're such fucking liars about everything. And then they're out here doing this stuff, you know, to manipulate us, because this is what they do. It's the only thing they know how to do. It's so aggravating too when you know that you're in a hamster habitat and they keep fucking with it. It's like, oh, it's really irritating. And I was showing the weird stuff and trying to capture the sun thing, and showing this weird thing with the fog and how the sun brought in the fog. And there was something else I thought I was trying to show. But anyways, if you can't hear what I was saying, that was the stuff I was trying to show. But I don't know. If I don't completely turn my car off, and I'm pulling off on the side of a highway to do these, because they don't have places to see, and you get your best view. Like I said, people in the city, you're getting a very limited view of the sky. You don't realize how limited it is until you go out, way out of town, out rurally. And then, you know, especially driving in, you get a big view. And that's how I can see, like, these weird atmospheric things and stuff. It's fucking weird. Plus, I saw them that day putting down their, the sky was clear. They had the big old disc out there, and it's always over in, like, sunset. Like, but it's weird as hell. But then, when they had the moon that day, they had the moon out at the same time. So they had the sun and their sun and the moon, which I don't know how that is. And then they were just chemtrailing the shit out of the sky like crazy. And I couldn't believe it. And then right away, this weird weather rolled right back in, you know. They're just messing with stuff all the time. God, these people are just monsters. Like, get a goddamn life. They're that desperate to hold on to the slaves that they will do anything. And, you know, they'll do mass killing, then try and corral the rest of us. It's not going to work this time, though. They've done their old trickery throughout time, you know, against humanity. But, you know, this time, you know, we're waking up to the truth. We're seeing through the illusion. We know that it's all a bunch of bullshit. It's all for their benefit. There's nothing for our benefit. They just soon kill us. Oh, which, by the way, the girl had her baby and got out and everything was fine. So, you know, that's good news, man. That's a freaking miracle, if you ask me. I'm scared to death to go to those places. You know, I really don't. One of the reasons I don't even like to go out much is because I don't want to get into a wreck and then they take me to one of those places. You know, I mean, I've worked at those places. I know what happens. I know what it's like. You know, it's not your safest place. So it's the only place, you know. I've already gone over that. Because once this happened, you know, when I got my brain injury, and, you know, you just have to start signing all these papers about, you know, what they're going to do if I keel over or whatever. Power of attorney. Like, I have all these people who, you know, have rights over me. Like, the government makes people have rights over other people. Well, fuck that shit. That's bullshit. This is all their entrapment. It's all their bullshit, you know? It's their system. And their system is also be more enslaved. And always working for that little dangly piece of paper that they don't even live off of. They're living off all the gold. They're living off the fat cash while we're out there scrambling to get a little damn piece of paper. While they raise the price on everything, so we need more and more paper. Or they just short us on resources. Laugh at us while they do it. So monsters, that's what they are. But we can't get hung up on them because that holds us back. And we don't want to be low vibration hating them, you know, and being angry at them. So we just got to like see it and recognize it and let it go. And, you know, like I said, when it's like a daily thing that when you know what they're doing and you're living it, it's aggravating. It's like a daily practice to let it go and just look at the good side of things and be happy and make the life that I want while I'm here and all of that kind of stuff. And I think that so there's a whole bunch of stuff, especially if you go and drive. To me, anything I do where I just like relax, I just start getting messages. And it's so funny too. It's some of the worst times in my life. And there's, you know, picture evidence now. If you look at those old pictures of me, I had perms a lot of times. I had a perm. It's crazy because I think that so many of us, we think like somebody else is prettier than us or they look better. And we're always down on ourselves. We don't appreciate our own selves. And then, you know, we try and change our hair to look like somebody else. I mean, we've all done these things to try and, you know, think like we'll look different. If we put that hair on, we'll look different. It won't be us anymore. We'll look pretty like them. So we're always trying to look like somebody else. And, you know, it's when we really begin to just love and accept ourselves, you know, and quit thinking that someone is better. They have something that I don't have. They have this and I don't have that. Because it isn't true. It's so crazy is because when you, you know, you don't just pick your parents. It's not like, you know, you just line them up. And when you're a soul, I'll take those two. You know, how bad could it be? It's not like that. It is, you are able to, when you're on the other side, that's how we're all being watched all the time. You know, they can look up and down. They can look in the future. You can talk to them. They'll tell you what's up ahead. It happens all the time. They can tell you what's up ahead in 10 minutes. They can tell you what's up ahead 5 years. Like for me, they've been telling me what's up ahead for quite a long time. And that's where you work on trust. And then they're always showing me little bits like, we're telling you the truth. We're telling you the truth. But, you know, you develop your relationship with them and your development of trust and stuff. But I don't know. Other demons are trying to trick me. I guess it's such nonsense. Yeah, you know. But it's you. It's your own higher self. It's your own team. It's your own ancestry. It's your closest soul people are the ones who are around you trying to help you and stuff. So, when you are out of body before you incarnate, you don't just, you know, pick your parents out of a catalog. You actually can go in and you can look, you can see your life. You can see what you're going to look like. You can see what your life is going to be like. You wanted all of the things that you have. The whole thing is learning to appreciate and love yourself. That is the journey, you know. You picked all of the stuff. It isn't like... is once you learn to appreciate yourself, you'll see the beauty in yourself. As long as you're always thinking someone's better than you, you're always going to think other people are more beautiful than you. And that's very surface level stuff that we're even looking at, you know. And it all comes from our own self-doubt of trying to understand who we are. And we see it as, you know, in the development of kids. And you just have to look at the soul development as the same kind of development, you know, because it's micro, macro. Everything shows what it is. And that is the stages of development for a soul. So it is a part of the process to learn to love yourself and appreciate yourself and admire yourself. You know, you are your own king or queen, you know, and you choose. You know, I say keep your natural parts. They don't start, you know, giving up that right to procreate, you know, but however you want to reflect what's on the inside, it's up to you. Be you, you know, and that is one of the things too that is just, you know, where they've just messed up with people's heads and stuff, you know, like because most of the people who I know, like myself, being when I was a progressive liberal, that I was, you know, all about you be you know, like I said, you know, I'll take the kids to have the drag queens read to them and stuff. You know, I thought it was all just learning about acceptance. I didn't know that they had an agenda, what they were trying to do. You know, they wanted just a bunch of robots. They want us to give up our parts. They wanted, you know, any people who have them, they want to just use them as part of their harvesting system. You know, they're so beyond comprehension for most people that it's just like our brains just shut out. Like, no, no. But like me, I'm one of those people like, nah, what? Go look more and more and more. I gotta see this. Oh no, this guy, you know, I'll just dive in and start looking shit up. And, you know, and I'm telling you, this shit's fucked. And, you know, some people don't hurt yourself by looking. You know, it's bad. Just trust yourself and moving forward and leaving this system behind, because it was all a system of corruption and greed and all to keep us small and slaves. So, but it's part of the consciousness development. You know, we had to get to this point to develop ourselves, you know, to pull free. And, you know, another thing, you know, when I was, that time when I was doing the stretches and stuff, and I've come out of my body in different times, but in this situation when I had come, you know, I was just doing those yoga stretches. Wasn't doing the chips, I just had doing the yoga stretches. And when I was doing it, I just all of a sudden came out of my body. There was no barrier. There was nothing holding me. It was just like, woo, I just went right out. And it scared the shit out of me. It felt so like empty and open. It felt really scary for a second. I yanked back in really quick. And I was like, oh my God, Jordan happened to be here. And I started telling her, like, oh my God, I just so freaking freaky. That felt so weird. And it was really reminding me about like open water and stuff like, you know, and about open space. Like if you go in and you learn about that one guy who talks about, you know, the dimensions in the universe and stuff, which I think he's right on. But that what we consider to be heaven, the top place where we're the closest to God, which is all thing, that when you get to that place, it's just empty. It's just dark. It's just empty. And there's no feeling. There's nothing, because there's no judgment. There's nothing there. It's just emptiness. And it is when a soul reaches that point, that is when the soul says, who and what am I? And that is where God gives you that spark of him and says, here, my son, go out and find yourself. And then you go out as a soul and you begin to incarnate, and your higher aspect all the way up to the highest it can be, where we are all of one, that they can look down, they can see, because you are projecting. You can think what you are. You can think about who you are, what you are, but you don't know who you are until you're in action. And that's why the judgment that comes behind the, you know, if you haven't walked in a person's shoes, you have no right to judge them, because you haven't gone through the experience. So you don't know what the fuck you would do. You're going to do whatever you do, and whatever they're doing is doing whatever they're doing so that they can learn, you know. And sometimes, yeah, they may not learn by the first mistake. They may have to go through a bunch. But eventually you start seeing like, why am I keep making the same fucking mistake over and over and over? And you begin to look at yourself. Oh, there's a common denominator right here. And then that's when you can really, you know, dive into change. That's how you change your life. You change yourself, because you are the common denominator behind all of the stuff that you think is so sucky. And so all of the trouble that we have with these people and stuff, we saw it, we knew it, we knew what was coming before we ever got here. It's just when you come in, you don't remember because you're just like a little puppet, you're a little Barbie doll. You're just playing it out so your higher self can watch and see what it is in action, what it's like to be itself. It learns about itself. Everyone in the universe learns about itself. So that, we think like this is like all real and this is all there is and everything out there is like, oh, but no, everything is like a projection. It's like movies going on everywhere. It's just energy showing itself what it is all the time. But yeah, at the highest point of where you reach what people think of as being bliss is just a place of no judgment. And that place feels empty, and that is, I think that makes sense. People believe whatever they want, but I think that we are the creators. God gives us this power because we are a part of God. Once we become the consciousness to question who and what we are given a gift to go out and figure it out. And then when we go out to figure it out, we develop ourselves as a conscious being, as an individual. So it is, it's a fantastic when you can really understand like how it works. Like it even gets more complex. The more you begin to understand, the more your brain can access, the more your brain can understand, the more opens up for you. It's like the universe just unfolds itself for you so that you begin to understand things in such a more complex kind of spiritual way. Because part of their whole thing was using religion to control people, and to manipulate people. So that's why they had to pull them. It's like pull them away from God, give them directions to get there. So, and then to as a society, just beat them down, and then make them think God doesn't love them, and get them to not love themselves, so that then they can really believe God doesn't love them. So then when they used, it's like they wore out religion. Because even with religion, like a lot of people could go and, live this phony life and think they were all Christian and good and God-fearing because they went to church on Sunday, but then, they're down at the Cedar Springs or whatever, down at the truck stop, picking up sex partners or whatever. They're doing stuff they shouldn't be doing because they're living a double life. They're hating themselves. They can't even figure it out. They don't understand, because it's all so twisted, and it's partly, you got to face yourself. You are making your choices. And, when you make different choices, when you really feel God inside of you, when you're not going down to the building down the street and go walk into his room with a bunch of other people that you're trying to impress by what you have on. No, God, when you get in touch with God that's inside of you, then you have a different relationship with God. Then you can't trick yourself. You can't go out and trick other people because then you're not real. You're not authentic. You're fake and you're phony and you feel it, and your inner guidance tells you, because when you're listening to it, it's trying to steer you towards authenticity because it wants to be shown, it wants to be seen. It doesn't want to be blocked in with bricks because you're scared to show yourself, So, before they used religion to keep us separate from ourselves and from each other because they could use religion to divide us so much. And then, and that's what the whole thing with their their Democrat and Republican bullshit too. It's all the same fucking people. They don't give a shit. It is not one thing. There is not one thing authentic about our government. It's the most criminal enterprise. It's like we have, we had the Caprese brothers running this show. That's what it's like. And anyways, so now because they kind of burnt religion out, and then even with religion, some people started being able to find God, even jumping through all their bullshit hoops. So now they decided, well, science, because science works for us. we'll use that to manipulate people. We will create this whole worship of science. We'll do it out of bullying. We'll tell them, if you don't believe in science, you're stupid. Well, I went to school in science, and I know that it's now. I know that they lie to doctors, and they lie. They teach what they want us to know. They don't teach everything true. And that is why, I was able to start seeing through this stuff, because I knew enough about science to know they were lying. And, there's people that have fallen in line, and just pretend like they don't know. But there's other people who have ethics and integrity who said, hey, they're lying. And, everybody's tried to speak out. But, since they own the media and all our social media and stuff like that, they've got control over that. They don't let people speak out. So, but they created this worship of science, because then they can really manipulate people and really tell you, what's real and what's not real. And then they just label it, tag it, and they've already given this tag the supreme worship place that it should have. They've already given us the disciples that we're supposed to believe, It's all manipulation. It's all just more of their manipulation. And it's one cool thing too, as while I was out, I was out to pee my pants. I ended up having to stop at a gas station. And when I went in, nobody was wearing, there was the people behind the counter who had them on, just covering them. I think they probably have to have them on or something. But people inside and stuff didn't. And it made me, so glad, because it's such a false illusion, for the, just like the thing with Matt Damon telling people, like, go get these, because that helps everybody who has compromised immune system. While working in the hospital, that people with compromised immune system, you don't go around them. You don't even let their families go around them. You don't tell them, go out shopping. Oh, it's safe, go out shopping. No, it's not safe. I mean, how ridiculous. And then they give people this idea, well, if you just put this on, you'll be safe, you'll be healthy. Don't worry about it, you'll be healthy. Just, take a little added chemicals. We got plenty of those to spare. We're out there manufacturing them all nonstop. And, it's all an illusion, because it's not protecting you. But if you think it is, and you're not taking care of yourself, you think you got the quick fix, then you're not taking proper care of yourself. And then plus, these things, just look it up, people who wear those long term, surgeons and stuff, they give themselves lung damage, and they've got compromised lungs and depleted, deficient lung capacity. And it's super, super important to take deep breaths and cough and, get yourself breathing deep to clear that gunk out. That is what kills old people, that gunk that builds up, and they get pneumonia. It's really important. And that's why exercise is good, because it makes you breathe hard. It makes you, get the toxins and the crap out of your lungs, and cough it out and breathe deep and get your lungs all functioning good. And that sends your blood, real oxygenated blood, super oxygenated through your whole system. Your heart's like, oh, hell yeah. Your kidneys, everything is getting that super oxygenated blood. So, I'm not saying go down and be a gym hound or whatever. I'm just saying, it's part of what your body needs, It's part of the system. It's kind of like, too, about the looks thing. It's funny because, everybody gets their vehicle, and you pick it out of the lot when you're in the shopping center up there. And then you come down and you're like, I hate it. I hate it. I didn't know I was going to look at these ones. I hate it. I'm so ugly. And it's really just like, not appreciating this beautiful vehicle you have and what all it has to offer, and giving it its best care possible, and proper fueling of it and everything. And our body system needs that. It needs to cough and breathe deep and get that oxygenated blood going through us sometimes. Otherwise it becomes stagnant, especially with the chemicals and stuff, especially the way they do the feeding times and this non-stop filling us with chemicals, and then keeping our bodies in such a depleted state, and then hitting us with sickness after sickness and dropping toxins on us the whole time. It is, we're fucking warriors, seriously. People think that they're weak because they feel beat down mentally, but damn, man, we've been through it. We have been through it. man, and we are warriors. Jesus Christ. I mean, they are just nonstop coming at us. And it's just, it's just so important to just get in touch with yourself so that you can take proper care of yourself, and you start, there's so much to learn about this world. And then once you break free from this illusion that they have us, focused on, so they keep us trapped. So once you can break free from that and you start recognizing that there's a whole world out there, just like when people go and they see spaceships up in the sky flying around, somebody could sit there all day long telling them there's no aliens. Oh, it's our own government. That's not aliens. That's crazy bullshit. There's not aliens. Yeah, Stephen Hawking would have told us there was aliens, or whatever, that other Tyson, whatever. Our paid representatives, our disciples of our new religion, that, they said there isn't. Well, once you see them, once you know something, it doesn't matter what people say. You just start looking at them like, what is wrong with you? And then you start seeing people are trusting what they're being told instead of really going out and seeing things for themselves. And then you start understanding, oh, it's a consciousness trap. And what a consciousness needs to do to develop to pull itself out of that trap. Just like when I had come out of my body, because when we are out there as consciousness, I think a body, like having a little vehicle, a spaceship, whatever, however we get around, I feel like it's very comforting, for a consciousness to have something to go into. It feels good. It feels cozy, like a little blankie, I think that is what it feels like in a body. And also think about this, is when you are in your body and you're feeling all these experiences, you're very tuned into your environment, you're going through the experience, then you go in and you go to bed and you dream and you're in a whole nother experience, you're in a whole nother world, and you are interacting with people and you're sure those people are there. You're not just seeing pictures, you're really in this other place, and you can feel things and you understand things and everything. And then you all of a sudden wake up or come back to this body. And then you see like you were still in this body. So how were you having that experience? How did that experience feel like you still had a body when you weren't actually in the body at that time? You were outside of the body, because it's all of how we identify. It's how we perceive. It's how we perceive. And it's what we focus on. And so your body is literally like, it's like your anchor. When you have, you go get different ones all the time. You're not ever trapped to the same one forever and ever. But it's kind of like an anchor for your reality, or for your consciousness. It's a place for your consciousness to be anchored to. But it still is going out and having experiences. It's still going out and living a life that you especially your body doesn't know it all, because your consciousness is out there doing it. And even when it's shown to you in dreams, you still can't even understand it. You still think it's just like, oh, I'm just making this up. I just got pictures I've got a very vivid imagination. And anyways, those are all just things I think to just start thinking about, and start thinking in directions that expand your mind. They want to keep our minds so closed, so narrow. They want to keep us divided. They want us to keep fighting over this different freaking bullshit that doesn't fucking matter. And, it's just to keep us arguing. It doesn't matter who's this and who's that. And anyone who has been labeled understands that a label doesn't define you. You're way more complex than what the label identifies you as. And that's why, we have some people who are like, oh, well, I guess I need more labels. I swear to God, when I was on TikTok, I saw somebody who they were telling something about their life or their experience, but first they had to do this whole self-identifier. They had like 25 labels that they had identified themselves as. It's so limiting. It's just limitations. And it's the limitations they're providing for us. So that's even a double whammy. Breaking free from the system is starting to understand yourself. It's figuring out who you are. when you're not being told who you are, and to love yourself. And it's hard when you come out and start being like who you really are. You know, you find parts of yourself you don't like, and that's the parts you need to heal. That's the part you need to go in deeper and understand about yourself. And don't get stuck on any of your healing. You know, there's other methods out there. There's lots of methods to get through this stuff, because, you know, most of us have a lot of things to heal. And each time you heal something, it gets easier and easier and easier. The triggers get less and less and less. You start being able to go around people and you're not affected by how other people see you. So it's a beautiful experience. And oh, there's another thing too, is one thing I really want to do, and for, you know, where we're headed or whatever, I want to start getting people in communities to start getting like revivals or something, where we get gatherings going at like places like parks and stuff, and we get lots of food trucks to come, local music, local farmers. People bring their yoga mats and their picnic blankets, and we begin to get these big, you know, revivals going, where people come out and, you know, maybe there's people who are singing, maybe there's people reading poetry, maybe, you know, get a bunch of artisans out there displaying their work. People love to go and see stuff and learn how to make things and stuff, and you know, get different people to come out and speak. But that's where we're going to start getting people to gather and get back together, and to, you know, when we get together like that as a group, and of like-minded people who want to have fun and want to get to know people and enjoy life, you know, that is a huge energy that just goes out. That's the kind of atom bombs that we need to do as citizens of this planet. And we need to start going out there and creating these revival atmospheres, getting everybody out there, the small businesses that are out there trying to struggle, and the artisans, and give them places to come, and the small farmers, so they can start introducing people to healthy ways of eating, you know, and we start, you know, moving in a direction that is good for us, where we feel happy and we feel more complete, more connected, you know. And I definitely want to get out there and start going around to different communities, and I do want to go and sit and talk to people, you know, and get together, like have, you know, yoga in the park. And I just think that there's so much that we can start doing to build communities and to get people excited about life and where we're headed and how we can create the world that we want. And what a beautiful thing it is that we get to watch them destroy their own world that they created, because it was out to kill us. It was us or them, and I'm glad it's them. So, you know, we are the conquerors. We are the warriors. So anyways, get in your warrior spirit and get excited about life. And I do think, you know, we will start getting these like revivals and stuff, people getting together, like-minded people, and getting out there and putting this energy out onto the planet and turning this planet into something beautiful, because they wanted to destroy it. So we're going to take it back. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.